A once beautiful relationship broken by the coronavirus. Is there any future for U.S.-China relations? Welcome back to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Tensions between the U.S. and China are at an all-time high because of the coronavirus, which a lot of people are now calling the CCP virus. Everyone's doing it, even a columnist for the Washington Post. That's because the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, spent the first crucial months of the outbreak covering it up. That allowed the coronavirus to spread around the world, and that's why we're in the situation we are today, where the world has to postpone the next Wonder Woman movie. And if that doesn't affect you, maybe this will. The Final Fantasy VII remake may be delayed. And thus, World War III began. China versus the Weebs. The U.S.-China relationship was already strained ever since the U.S. decided to stop rolling over for the Chinese regime's intellectual property theft, espionage, unfair trade practices, currency manipulation, and, well, it's a long list. But the coronavirus may have pushed the relationship to the breaking point.
As the world declares war on the coronavirus, another battle has erupted between two of its great powers, China and the United States.
President Trump has responded with fire and fury.
But I'm a little upset with China, I'll be honest with you.
Okay, that was less fury and more mild displeasure. So far, Trump is not backing down on trade tariffs. But that could change. The Trump administration is seeking comments from the American public on whether to temporarily lift some of the tariffs because of the coronavirus. My public comment is, don't do it! It'll just make us more dependent on China again. Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party is expelling American journalists from China. And it's going on a propaganda offensive, including trying to blame the whole coronavirus thing on the U.S. military. So President Trump decided to make it clear the epidemic started in China by calling it the Chinese virus.
The Chinese virus.
Chinese state-run media called him racist. And then Western media started calling him racist. Well, they called him racist again, but because of this.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? Why do you keep using this? A lot
Because
of
it
people
comes
say
from
it's
China.
racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate.
But now Trump has said he'll stop using the term Chinese virus, prompting a victory lap from Chinese state-run media. Maybe that means Trump will adopt the term that all the cool kids are using, CCP virus. Might as well, since things aren't getting any smoother between the two countries. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says China is still withholding information about the coronavirus. My concern is that this cover-up, this disinformation that the Chinese Communist Party is engaged in, is still denying the world the information it needs so that we can prevent further cases or something like this from recurring again. And Texas Congressman and Republican member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCaul, took to Fox News to say this.
In my view, this is one of the worst cover-ups in human history.
It's even worse than how NASA covered up the flat Earth by building a round Earth. But the anger with the Chinese regime is not just from Republicans. This is a bipartisan effort. I love how China brings us together. But perhaps what terrifies the Chinese Communist Party the most is a growing sentiment for moving U.S. companies out of China. The Chinese regime loves to act tough, but it knows it needs U.S. money to fuel its own economy, especially after the coronavirus hit. Even Western universities, which for years have depended on Chinese students as a source of income, are getting a little wary. But the Chinese Communist Party has one ace up its hole. Wait, how does that saying go? Anyway, they found an American performer who is able to articulate the superiority of China's coronavirus fight. As Chinese state-run media puts it, American rapper Cardi B shows support for China's coronavirus fight.
When they put Wuhan, China in quarantine, right, the coronavirus cases is going lower, but that's because when they quarantined the people, they were spraying shit in the streets. And that while we're quarantining at home, what is the government doing? Like, is y'all spraying shit in the streets? Like, is y'all gonna start taking our temperatures? Is y'all gonna, like, one by one take our temperatures and whatnot and see if we got it or not? And it's like, how am I supposed to know that I have the coronavirus?
Wait, I'm sorry, is that showing support for China? I mean, I guess the US government could be spraying more in the streets. Frankly, I liked it better when Chinese state media were blaming the coronavirus on the US military. So what do you think of what's become of the US-China relationship? Leave your comments below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.